people, Deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. And as Ian Wright just said there, people, Deluded, I'm back again. Big up you lot. Happy Monday, folks. If you're in the United Kingdom, happy bank holiday. Do make sure we're smashing the like button. We're getting involved in the live chat. Now, how we feeling, Arsenal fans? You know what I will say? Obviously, we lost to Southampton. We're out of the FA Cup and we lost the League Cup final. And admittedly, I believe this way, but I don't believe this way at the same time in that I'm therefore more pissed off we didn't win the League Cup final. I'm disappointed in the performance, the proactiveness from Mikel Arteta, every one of the players collectively, because we, as a team, we didn't put our best foot forward. And with the exception of, like I said, pardon me, and actually Gyökeres in line with his limitations, I don't think we put our best foot forward, and I just don't think it went to plan, and it weren't good enough. I kind of feel the performance against Southampton in many ways was better than that, but also worse, man. Listen, we know we're not moving the ball in the final third and playing in a way we'd like to see, but there's pattern recognition. We kind of haven't played to our level all season. Of course, there's been exceptions, but that's kind of been a thing, and it's bit us on the arse in the last two games. I think we moved the ball a lot better in the first half, but that's not me necessarily being happy or rating it. That's purely kind of a sense of it just hasn't been good enough. The two goals we conceded were poor. We're out of the FA Cup. It's bad sentiment. You didn't get that reaction against Southampton. So beyond the obvious of going up and losing another chance of silverware, you've obviously got that. And obviously the League Cup. Now, this is a massive week. You know what you need to do against Sporting Lisbon tomorrow. And you definitely know what you need to do against Bournemouth. Again, it's not going to be easy. Areola was at St. Mary's doing his scouting. We know what he does tactically. We know how Bournemouth is. City are purring, innit? They dismantled Liverpool. They got another trip out to Wembley, which, again, manager, off topic, but I know that you and the boys want to get there. But at the same time, as a collective, there's a lot of talking. It's not following through. You're not putting in the performances of such. If I'm completely honest, a 16-year-old Max Dowman, he understands it. He gets it. And as talented as he is, I shouldn't be saying that about a 16-year-old. So let's let him go do his thing and develop, but get him back on task. Any talk of reaction, squashed. You know what you need to do against Bournemouth. You know what you need to do against Sporting. City are purring after dismantling Liverpool and winning in the Cup. It's what you want to do. It's what you want to make of it, man. Like, I think people always want to focus on the Arsenal fans that are excited and like proclaiming we're going to win the treble and we're going to quadruple even, etc., etc. Now, we've taken two gunshots, really, truly. Now, I don't believe in our ability to win the Champions League. I want to be wrong. Want to go the way. Put all the eggs in the Premier League basket, get that one done, man. And again, probably a slight exaggeration with the title, yeah, but because I don't think it defines his legacy. Whether it's the legacy Mikel Arteta wants, and we want this season in terms of winning silverware is another thing. But you have done a lot of good things for this football club to get us back in these conversations and have us kind of complaining that we are at the moment, right? But your last two chances of silverware, you have to keep them alive. Sporting isn't going to be easy. Bournemouth, therefore, isn't. The footballing world could care less about Arsenal's ambitions and wanted us to win titles. Now we're wounded, we're feeling sorry for ourselves. Between the manager and the players, get on with it, because there's a lot of football to be played for. While it hurts to not win the two domestic cups, in fact, the third time lucky and the fourth time lucky, some of you get that, some of you won't. You've got a parade. Who cares, innit, really and truly? So yeah, smash the like button. Let me know how you lot feel, man. Jesus, Martinelli, Trossard, Kai, Odegaard is going straight with him. I don't think Odegaard's going to go anywhere this season. Trossard weren't really a factor of the game yesterday, but I get why you feel that way. Gabriel Jesus, like, I think everyone can see you're not quite the same player with two injuries, innit? Like, I do feel the second long-term injury got kind of kicked the little life Gabriel Jesus had about him, but isolated that, injured or not, can you play better? Yes. Can you be a proactive? Like, simply put, let's not waffle, man. It's like playing with 10 players with Gabriel Jesus. Like, I don't see it. I see an element of trying, like, Kai Havertz playing in midfield in 2026. Gabriel Jesus dropping into midfield in 2026. Unfortunately, it's tired. Now, you got tools, use them. And for the players, like, as much as I'm critical of the manager, I don't want to, I'm not just blaming the gaffer, the players, man. They need to do a lot better. You're shooting yourselves in the foot. Yeah, I can't lie, boy. You said we was winning the quadruple. I try to tell you to calm down. But again, there's on a serious note, I know there's never going to be mature conversation, but what fan wouldn't want to win all bits and pieces of silverware? I don't subscribe to a quadruple. I just don't think we're able to do that. But if you genuinely feel confident, isolated to all competitions, like you felt we could win the Prem, just speaking about that, so on and so forth and all four. That's very different from, you know what I'm talking about. The social media fans is crazy. We're going to win everything. We're the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah, man. And I just have the feeling of how I felt and how I have felt about this club, and definitely this season, is you can never, unfortunately, underestimate our ability to fuck things up. And also on top of that, we love shooting ourselves in the foot. Now it's down to these boys, because now it's about building momentum. I think all the talking points are in the last two games. is around who was playing. We know there's injuries, but at the end of the day, both 2 games now, whoever's gone out there, they have not done well enough, regardless of anything. I do think when you look at the players that were absent yesterday, I do think there's an element of, if it was really that, they would have played. I do think some are legitimately injured. I think some could have really played. I think the risk comes obviously tomorrow against Sporting and against Bournemouth. So people are going to have to stay fit. We're going to have to do our job, man. This week is decisive. If we want to get over the line and have parades and create a legacy, you've got to stand up to be kept, to the point where I feel like a lot of us fans, us balanced and rational fans, it's not that we don't understand why the players speak and the obligation to speak to the press, but if I'm honest, the players, Mikel Arteta, and I mean this with love, there's no ill feelings. Like, just sharp and win trophies now. Like, the chatting thing is dead now. Like, you know what you need to do. You're in the most beautiful point of the season, and between the manager and the players, there's a way to lose, isn't it? Like, there's a reality. We lost these 2 games, and we're going back to the drawing board where we're thinking about what went wrong, but the performance went there. In a cup final, the performance collectively was not there. Against Southampton, 2 parallels. Everything you need to do to get through and have a trip to Wembley and all that stuff, Southampton did. We didn't. Football being a 90-minute game and in different first half, lapses in concentration, question marks about proactive tactics, question marks about the second week in a row playing out from the back. I actually, like, there's just certain things at this club I can't get vexed about anymore. Gabriel Jesus not really doing much. Martinelli brain dead. Trossard 1 minute you're decent, then you're not. Kepa is not good enough. But I can't get at Kepa because, in my opinion, especially for playing out from the back, obviously Kepa didn't do nothing yesterday. Looked a bit clownish for the goals, made the mistake against City, but isolated to his mentality and his limitations, he's trying to play those passes. It's just, he just ain't got the juice for that. So I'll tell you, either have to tailor things or we play in a different way, because there's been times we've played very direct with David Raya. Times we've done it with Kepa. It's jarring, man, to the point where I'm looking at Kepa, and honestly, we're better off just finding one of them keepers that are very eccentric and dodgy, but they're very decent with a ball at their feet, because that is what we're trying to do. So yeah, man, it is what it is. Arteta hasn't been sacked. They're not going to sack him now, mate. So yeah, still feeling bad about the loss, but we need to lock back in. Anything less than a win tomorrow is a problem. I hear you, but I don't think it's a case of the fans. Obviously, you're going to get fans that cry and scream and shout, and 1 minute they're bigging up the team and they hate them and all of that. But most fans know there's going to be highs and lows. Well, most fans are critical on the problem. And in the same way, if you won the last 2 games, we'll be gassing it. You're excited, yeah, mentality monsters. You won at Wembley and now you're through the FA Cup. This week is different. I think a lot of us, and it's easy because we're not playing, but the fans are doing their part, bro. The fans that travel up and down the country, the fans that are online, they're doing their part. At the end of the day, it's the players now. Facts. After 2 losses, he needs wins. Nothing less. Nothing less. Should have a League Cup in the bag, and playing City in the FA Cup semi-final. He messed up bad. It's sad the season seems to be on Mac's shoulders, which is a shame, as talented as a 16-year-old is. Chalk boy, appreciate your membership, man, if I'm honest. DJ, if you choose Prem or the champs. We've had this conversation before, many a time. If I'm picking for me, like, obviously we're a club that's followed by millions around the world. If I'm picking purely for me and none of the rest of you, Champions League, I won a European trophy. I haven't seen that. Europe's filled with more L's than W's for this club. It's the biggest club competition you can participate in. But when I consider the drought, the journey that these players and this manager's been on, I think the Prem, like, you need the Prem. Like, don't get twisted. If you won the champs and not the Prem, I still think there's an element of, you know, we'll be happy and whatnot, but there'll still be that skeletons in the closet of, can you do it over a 38-game period? And I'd say the Prem, because do I feel you can win the Prem? Yes. Even though you're fucking it up and all the calculations about City and Arsenal, and I'm not saying we've won it. Do I feel you can win? Isolate to what you boys can control. Even if I'm not happy with how, you know, individual form, collective form, Arteta this, Arteta that, because of the points gap, how many games there is, the platform you lot have put yourselves in. Do I feel you lot could win the Prem? If I compare the Prem and the champs, 1,000,000%, I do think you've got a good chance. I think you don't be the reason if you don't win the Prem. You shot yourself in the foot like last year and the season before that. I'll allow you for 2022-23. We weren't ready. There was an injury to Saliba. I'll allow you, but the last 3 years, borderline 4, I think you should be doing that. I think you lot should slap yourself that you haven't done, and I think there should be a burning desire to fucking get this job done, and I extend that to everyone at Arsenal. The Champions League, it's out of our control. Give a good account of yourself, turn up on the day. But I do think, you see when they say in life, you earn your own luck. I think we got that on our run to the Champions League final in 2006, players were standing up to be counted. You know, Jens Lehmann weren't conceding goals. Everybody, whether it was injured players, remember we went to the Bernabeu with a Bandulu back four. You made your own luck. People stood up to be counted. I don't necessarily feel that. And I've been saying this, innit? Like, the whole team has to turn up, but my attackers, like, and exclude as talented as he is, a 16-year-old Max Dalman, because when you've played this season relative to your minutes, you get it. We believe in you. I don't feel anyone's going to have a standout season, but I need my attackers to start playing extremely well. I do think you need that in the Champions League. I do think they don't even, I'm not saying they don't have to, but there could be games in the semi-finals where our star men are not doing it, but 89th minute, a moment of brilliance, we're gone. Kind of what I wanted to see in the League Cup final. So if it was just purely picking for me, the Premier League, everything that including you lot, it's got to be the Premier. Sorry, I would pick the champs, be the Premier. Imagine a midfield of Rice, Eze, Ethan next season, Max, Victor, centre forward, the PSG guys are left with would be fine. You know we're not getting Kvaratskhelia, man. You have to wake up. Linz and Rob, appreciate you. It's not about Kepa. It's that Arteta made the selection. Tell me Rice's injured and I won't bother with this Kepa thing. That's what I'm saying. Pardon me. And you didn't help him. Happy Easter, mate. Rainmaker, one love. The players aren't going to do well if he puts Kepa behind them in crunch matches. It's sabotage. They have to fix up, man. I only care about the EPL. We have to win it. Now, I care about everything, but you have to win it. And with obviously going out in the competitions, but the fashion, like the frustration of Southampton, the shame of the League Cup final, man. Like, I can take the banter and all of that, but there's a way to lose games, man. Like, there's a way we lose. There's a universe. We lost to Southampton yesterday and we lost to City and we're licking our wounds, are upset. But the performance was there, or the performance was dramatically better to the point where we could go, you know what, back to the drawing board. But fair play, fair enough. That hasn't been there. And a lot of these players, like, on one hand, for a couple of these players, whether you've had injuries or you've been in and out the side, a lot of you man have like been out in the cold. Norgard and Miles Lewis-Skelly, like, you haven't really got rhythm and fluidity. But the squad players are not taking their chances. The regulars are not really taking their chances. You take Rice out of that midfield, we're in trouble. You take Zubi out of that midfield, we're in trouble, as you could see. But again, they had to, quote unquote, be rested at some point. This is why you needed other midfielders you could trust, at the point where, did you really want Norgard like that? Because maybe Norgard's putting nothing wrong. We genuinely wanted him as a replacement for Thomas Partey. In Arteta's mind, it's just Rice and Zubi, but you can't have wanted him like that, because if we kept Thomas Partey, bearing in mind, forget the off-field stuff, we don't agree with all of them rumours and whatnot. But if we had Partey and Zubimendi, you're not going to see Partey get the Norgard minutes. And I don't think you would have seen Zubi. So everything's coming to a head, innit? Like, everything that we've been ticking along, but like the players with the minutes, the injuries, the resting and not resting, everything's coming to a head now. And this week, you have to make it count. You have to make it count. We got to a semi-final last season. We got to get to the next step, which is a final. Got better players. No excuse with this coach. This is why we need Luis Enrique. Big players will follow him for PSG. Just get over the line. Hi, Deluded. Christian said Arteta deserves 3 more seasons, even if he doesn't win anything again this season. He said Wenger got 9 seasons between cups, 05 and 14. It's only fair Arteta gets the same. Three more years for it. Fair enough, man. You know what? It's a fair enough. I've moved on from the cup losses, but now I'm concerned about these injuries / players out for these upcoming matches. We may not be at our best, which is frustrating. And that's what's making me a tiny bit... Well, no, it's not making me a bit nervous, because I'm of the reality, like, it is what it is, man. We've been dealing with injuries since August. Been an Arsenal fan all my life. Like, some of our most standout games and whatnot, and even in a couple of FA Cup finals, hasn't been with the strongest team on paper. So to a degree, whatever life throws at you, you have to hold it up. But then I'm with you, because Ben White, like, I love Ben White. Physically, I think we've ran you into the ground. I do think it's an element of you've not been in ideal conditioning, innit? Like, you've had the stop-start season. You've got a lot of minutes in the League Cup final, and obviously yesterday, sandwiched in between that, you played for England, which on one hand, you've not had minutes. So I want you to go and get some. Physically, you look spent. And then obviously yesterday, it just looks dark, innit? So my point is this. Ben White's in a terrible moment of form. I need Shuri and Timber back. I don't know what's going on with Timber. Gabriel Magalhaes had a bit of a knee issue by God's grace, that's nothing serious. But what's going on there? Hincapié, I'm not sure what's going on there. You get where I'm going with it. You know, we're still having to nurse Saliba a bit. And if there's one kind of area in our pitch, it's our defenders, isn't it? Like the defenders, sometimes they chip in with goals. More time, their level of consistency is cool. Rice and Zubi, there's element frustrations, but we know we're getting. And we just have to hope. And this has been my mentality week in, week out. You just have to hope your attackers turn it on, innit? Really. So the defenders scare me. Like the defenders scare me. And as I said, I'm looking at my key players, especially if I've only started the cup final. But I am looking at my attackers, man. Like it's deeper than this. You need a lot more than this, but I'm pleading with you, like someone go through a purple patch of form, man, because there's an element. It's not even an element. We all know goals win games, but we are getting to that point this season. As much as I will audit every performance, I can't lie. It's not necessarily about performing greatly at 90 minutes. Like we've got many a criticism and praise for Arteta. We've had that conversation, but if I just consider everything and us needing just to win games and get over the hurdle, so in May we're doing this. This is now where I need my attackers because there are going to be some games, bro. We're just going to be shit. And that goes for City and everybody else, whether you're trying to win a league, whatever. You're just going to be shit. Can my attackers get us out of jail? You know, for example, we've been crap in the game. It's 0-0 in the 80th minute. Two little individual moments of brilliance from Saka. We win the game 2-0. We go back to the drawing board. Why did we play like that? But fundamentally, points on the board. That's the scenario we're getting in. And I know there's been, you know, Eze was finding his feet before his injury. Gyökeres has started this year very well. First half of the season, Trossard, and to a lesser degree, because he was a super sub, Martinelli, your form was there. But it's deserted us. For my attacking players, this is not going to be seasons where you win the league and PFA nominations and all of that. But it might be your greatest season because now you shared the moments. Unfortunately, I know you lot love each other as teammates and you ride the highs and lows together. You don't know how it felt in that dressing room to lose to Southampton, to lose that final in the League Cup, to go from the high of beating Real Madrid to however you felt against PSG. The last 3 years in the Premier League, at some point in some game, it's become evidently clear, not setbacks like we go again, but it's evidently clear the league's gone. And those them moments. So that should drive you to get this thing over the line. And that's one thing as well, because Arteta is one thing. Even if we get rid of the guy and you lot get your manager you lot want, yeah. The players, if we want to go from being a good team to a great team, need it. First half of the season, I saw different protagonists. Champions League, excluding Leverkusen and nitpicking a bit. Kyra, you man been fantastic. There's only been in my heart of hearts and pick up the North London derby, and there's obviously been games we've done well. Aston Villa, games I've liked, but in terms of what I think we need to see from being good to great, Newcastle away. I know we can't play like that for 38 games, but I extend this to the gaff for all of you lot. Everything I needed you lot to tick, you ticked it. You reacted to setbacks, you had a goal down. Gabriel made a mistake. We still won the game. And Magalhaes obviously patterned up his mistake. The subs did well. The starters did well. There was referee controversy. Gyökeres penalty not given. Them kind of things you stood up to be counted. How many times have I said that? If I had to bring another one in and I'm focusing just on the Premier League, Manchester City, when we drew with them, but I even have to discount that because you were chasing the game at that point. You were like when we got the equalizer in it through Martinelli, and even that we shot ourselves in the foot. There's an element of the best the best players are the best problem solvers. Like these men have to do it on the pitch. As much as it's about the tactics, and I'm not alleviating Arteta, these men have to be on it. And also at the same time, manager, they're listening to you, you know. Maybe they're not doing it well, but whatever you're telling them to do, they're doing it. So we're only at, like, if we're an army, we're going to live or die literally by the general's tactics, innit? So all of you lot, Holiday, appreciate you for the super chat, my boy. Honestly, DG, even if we win the league, I need to see some of these players with another manager. Everything at Arsenal seems stale. He's not going to go if we win the league, but I always say this, if we win the league, it's not a relief thing. Obviously, it's carnival settings. We're partying, we're excited. 22 years of hurt, we're over it. You know, same way if we bought a little, Arteta's going to hold smoke, praise him and whatnot. But you've reached the top. You've reached the top. How are you going to stay there? Because nobody, you saw with Slot, nobody, a year from there, nobody cares. And if anything, it should be harsher. And there is an element of us, whether we win the league or not, God forbid for if we're not, a lot of these players pass their sell back. There's going to, for argument's sake, there might have to be some unpopular sales. There might have to be some unpopular decisions. There's a lot of people, Gabriel Jesus, Benjamin White, salute for what you lot have done. And more so on Jesus in terms of, I think there's more of a pressing need. Ben White, I just think we could get a cheaper model, look after the wages. Fair enough. Thank you for the memories, man. Because the same people that got this club top four once again after years of being in the wilderness, we're not necessarily there for our first title challenge. They might have been good for a first one. They're not there to help us fight for it again. And then obviously when we've changed the way we've played into the 2023-24 season, not everyone was there. And then you've come into this year, innit? Well, 24, 25, and then subsequently this year. I feel like Arteta is scared to use Norgard because of the injury he got in his first Arsenal training session. He don't want him injured because then we don't really have anyone who can cover Rice. I don't subscribe to that, man. I can't lie. Do you think MLS will get punished by Arteta with lesser and lesser minutes due to his recent performances? Listen, him Norgard, on one hand, is difficult, but he ain't covered himself in any glory. If anybody has, and the dynamics are different, if anybody's taking the opportunities with the little minutes exposed, it's young Max Dowman. And I can't lie, man. I'm just at the point, boys and girls. I just get it done, man. I don't care whose feelings are upset. Everyone will be all right if we win the league. Zubimendi has been overplayed. I kept saying he has played the most minutes of any outfield player in the league. Norgard ain't Partey or Jorginho, but he could have been rotated. And that's my thing. Like, I think Norgard and Lewis Skelly, a lot of players that start week in, week out could have been rotated more frequently. And a lot of the bench boys could. It's one thing not starting them. It's another thing. Because that's why I thought minimum we'd see with Norgard. You'd see him on a frequent basis, last 20 minutes, occasional start between him and Zubimendi and whatnot. But the way I look at Norgard, like I think out of all the potential midfield options, at least for this season, unfortunately, in midfield, organically starting in midfield, Miles Lewis Skelly's name is last. Then you're looking at Norgard because you're gonna. We're using the term midfield loosely. Let's just say playing in the free of midfield. You're gonna see whether I like it or not. Kai's gonna play there before anything. Kai's gonna play there. Marino's gonna play there. Zubimendi and Rice already there. What can you do with the Odegaards and Eze's? They're included. And then when he was here, because he went out on loan 1 year, he features into that in some degree. So, end of the day, the manager's job is to win in it. So, if these things don't work, but you've want me something, do what needs to be done. DG, what has Arteta done in the last 6 years that convinces you that he's winning anything? He basically threw the game against Southampton by bringing on Zubi and taking off Havertz. Unfortunately, in life, until you prove people wrong, they're right. Get the job done, and then we can revisit the conversation. But I keep saying it, I'm actually quite fond of the gaffer. You've got us back into this scenario. But every year, you now don't get over the line. The noises are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I do think there's too much people committed to hating Mikel Arteta and too much people that support him beyond the football club. Because until we get over the line, all options should be on the table. There's a reality where obviously Arteta's rebuilt the club. He's got us competitive, but you might not be the guy to do what needs to be done. You might be the guy before the guy. So yeah, man. It is what it is. I don't want any players sold. Just change the gaffer. Something will change in a big way. Arteta needs a clean start with a new set of players elsewhere. And if you don't win it a 4th year in a row, then there's probably that. Because I genuinely think Arteta will win stuff in his career, but I only care if you do it at Arsenal. And sometimes for us to reach our new level and Mikel Arteta as a manager to reach his new level, there's a reality where you two have to divorce. He has got as far as he can go. Anyone saying he needs longer is just trolling. At this point, rival fans laughing at us. I'm one of the memes elite coach would have won with the squad we had. What do you mean by the second part of that? Our fullbacks and goalkeeper really let us down last 2 weeks. Cop out. Sorry, saw that already. Mikel will disappoint you guys as usual. I don't understand these guys holding on to this mid coach. Come on. As a rival, I want Arteta to get a lifetime contract. You support Chelsea. You need to go and focus on Leon Rosano. Does anyone know what time the airport arrives in Arsenal arrive in Lisbon? I'm at the airport. Not a clue, man. Not a clue. DG, even if we win the league, he has to go. More and more Arsenal fans are singing the same song. Only at Arsenal does a rookie coach get 6 years. If he wins the league, he's bought himself a year, realistically. But they'll hand him his new deal. He's contracted until 2027. There's got to be negotiations of some part. We're not going to go and get Luis Enrique. They can't go through a purple patch. The attacking system is fundamentally flawed. Attacking football ain't about goals. It's how you pass and move. Keep the ball. Create. Mikel doesn't coach these things. It's too much like solving algebra watching us in attack, man. If I'm completely honest. Whatever you said here, Linz. Not going to lie, I see bare mods in the chat always come and express their frustrations with Arteta, but never asking anyone to smash their likes. Tell them again, hi, DG, as far as I'm concerned, our season's over. Nah. I mean, we still got to fulfill all of these games. We're still in the Prem and we're still in the Champs. Heavy on we're in the Prem. Until it's mathematically impossible for Arsenal to win the Premier League this year, then it's not over. And if it's over, everyone who believes that, I can't lie, as peak as it looks, you're going to have to stay at home, man. You're going to have to stay at home. Stay at home. 7 days, what he has to save outside the Premier League. Got to keep us in the Prem. Got to keep us in the Champs, mate. The wheels haven't fallen off this season. Same old doom and gloom is in here. Would you take our position in the season over anyone else's? The boys just got to get over the line, man. They just have to get over the line, man. There's always going to be crash outs and a madness when we don't win, but yeah, just get over the line. Out the domestic cups, back-to-back L's. Let's just keep going, man. Take it out of sport. And this is what the world wants from you lot, man. Prove them wrong, Arsenal, man. This is what the world wants. If City win their game in hand, the gap will be just 6 points. Then Arsenal, if they beat Arsenal at the Etihad, the gap reduces to 3 points. People are relying on you lot to crumble. They're relying on your psychological. Look, prove them wrong, boys. And prove yourselves right, man. How bad do you lot want this? It's as simple as that. Now, when Arsenal don't win, I always find it fun going on social media and seeing like fans' frustrations or how they feel, because I kind of get both sides. In quotation marks, winning just the PL this season would be a failure. It's just a statement that's out of touch with reality. Absolutely nobody is going to revisit us losing yesterday's game whilst exploring the euphoria of winning our first league in 22 years. Do we agree? Do we disagree? Where you lot at? We are not going to beat the allegations until we beat the allegations. Time for this coach and these players to lock in and show the world they can get over the line. This team will fly if and when it does. I don't know about the flying part, but I agree with everything else in that. Because we can defend you lot, and there is like they know what they do when they talk about a football club. But there's an element you man need to deliver. And you ain't done that. No problem for 22 years, but if we win it, we should sack the man that brings it to us. A very stupid fan base. Where we at with some of these comments? And I do think there's an element of gaslighting football fans, especially with statements like this. North London forever, whatever the weather. But when Arsenal don't win the game, you are quick to show how you never believed in the team. You can criticize when need be and still back the boys, but that's what fans do. You know what? Jump the gun. Fair enough. I agree with that. Apparently, Darren, the Arsenal one, has said Eze is back. He'll be back for Bournemouth, so it's Sporting is too early for him. And it's moments like this from the manager. These paragraphs, they could have been said at several points this season. You have to adapt to the win with the injuries. To be fair, the Southampton manager spoke about them as well. You have to adapt to difficult situations in the season. Now we have to show what we're made of. We had so much dominance in and around the box. We conceded our first goal in a very unusual way for us. The second one from direct play as well. We had two massive chances and needed to capitalize on that. If you make the defending errors we made today, it's very difficult to be in a semi-final. So, yeah, you need to go back to the drawing board. What has he said? Yesterday, when we went out to Southampton, and I just clocked Shay Charles. That's a Manchester City Academy grad. That feels cruel sometimes, man. We're very disappointed in the manner that we lost the opportunity to get back to Wembley. I think we, again, had many, many periods of dominance from our side. When you generate those chances and situations, we didn't capitalize on that enough. And when you defend in and around the box and directly in the manner that we did today, you're going to put yourself in a really difficult position. They capitalized on that, and that's the reason why we're out. On frustrations with work rate dead. On if anything needs to change in the summer. I love my players, what they've done for 9 months. Yeah, you're not going to say anything different. Said the errors were part of football. I'll be real, man. I don't really care about the chatter from everybody, but I don't know. I think he felt something. I don't know exactly what it is. We're going to have to assess him. But obviously, when a player is asking to be subbed, it's never good news. That's on Magalhaes. That's something I do care about. What else has he said? I don't know. I think we've played against any kind of behaviors from the opponent. We played 51 games. So imagine the amount of games we've played and won in different ways. I think it wasn't about that. Without taking any credit from Southampton, it was very related to something that, in my opinion, we have to do a lot better. No, and I don't want to put any excuses about the players that are missing or the players that are here with issues. It's not the case. Let's look at ourselves in the mirror, accept the situation, and go to Portugal with clarity and look forward to it. But I'm at the point no one don't really want to hear about it. It's not that it's wrong, Gaff, but no one want to hear. We must show who we are. We've heard that for a minute now, manager. We have the most important period in both competitions ahead of us, and it's now the moment. You have a difficult moment in the season to show what we're made of, and it is now we have to show who we are. Obviously, we're very disappointed. We wanted to get back to Wembley as quickly as possible. We haven't managed to do that. So first of all, congratulations to Southampton. The game had moments. We had moments where we had a lot of dominance from the side and chances and situations in and around the box that we didn't capitalize on enough. And when we have to accept we were poor in and around our box, football's decided in both boxes. We haven't adhered to that. Defending situations that normally we're excellent at, we paid the price. 100% we have to be better in both boxes. That's what you have to do well. If you don't, you put yourself in a really difficult position against a team on a good run. We're very sad because we wanted to give them joy and give give them back what they showed again tonight. Unfortunately, we couldn't do that. We tried until the last seconds, but there are certain things you have to do in football if you want to win. Well, to summarize, guys, sell Ben White, Norgard, Martinelli, Trossard, Jesus, Kai, Odegaard, bring Wanyeri, give Max Dalman more game time, buy Tonali and an elite left winger, sack Arteta, replace only with Enrique, 10 more lakhs till we hit 50. Well, take it out on Sporting. We are not beating Sporting. That is a high-running team. We won't keep up with them. Our players have knocks, ankles, knees, calf issues. We'll be lucky to get a draw. They're going to have to make the impossible possible if that's the case, man. What's all this doom and gloom? We went from eye candy football to disgusted, sideways, backwards football, scamming wins. I don't support Arteta FC. I support Arsenal. And this is not the Arsenal I grew up and fell in love with. They're just going to have to get it done. But as much as I dislike Arteta and think he should go, there has to come a point where the players just ignore the instructions and do their own thing to save themselves. Only in football can a man have his first coaching job, be one of the best paid coaches in Europe, and go without winning for 6 years. Some of being over dramatic. How can you even say the season is over? That makes no sense. True. But Horst Norgard said, the message is to have positive body language to talk with your teammates, with coaching staff. Now is not the time to go with your head downs for too long. It's fine to be frustrated tonight and also tomorrow to analyze what went wrong, but we have to look forward because there are so many big games coming up for this club. We had all our hopes high today to win and go back to Wembley, but yeah, that's not the case. Sorry to the disappointed so many travelling fans. They created an amazing atmosphere, and yeah, today was not good enough. It was a frustrating first half, but we had a really good period in the first half where we really had them create a lot of set pieces, a lot of shots around the edge of the box, and even also in the second half before we conceded 2-1. I think we had a really good period where we were on top of the game, so we didn't manage to score in those periods, and then we were poor defending in those 2 goals. So some little consolation to me, but fair play. What else has Norgard said? Because I saw some comments from Norgard apparently doing the rounds, but that doesn't appear that that's what he said on Arsenal's official website. But I guess he spoke to another publication. It was at times a little bit too chaotic. They were very sharp in transitions, which we didn't manage very well. We had the momentum in the second half, especially when we equalized and conceded a very stupid goal from a goal kick, which we cannot allow or accept. Very frustrating for us, but already a big game on Tuesday and time for us to show what we're made of. Fair enough. And he said we can't dwell on it. Oh, sorry, we've gone over those comments. What's the transfer news saying? We're still being linked with Christian Kofane, people of Bayer Leverkusen. Apparently, we're ready to submit a bid. We have been linked with Tredulzi and obviously Julian Alvarez. Gabriel Jesus is still linked with a move away. We saw this guy's agent speak, to which he said, Kofane, he's a 100 million euros player. With Kofane, Arsenal have a top striker for the next 10 years. Agent is always going to sell his client well in it. Juventus and Inter Milan are being linked with Calafiori. We'll pay stock to that when it actually means something. Arsenal been linked with Christensen from Barcelona. Get out of here with that, man. That's dead. Anyone having Camavinga? Apparently, Real Madrid are open to Eduardo Camavinga sell. I mean, if we had Declan Rice, Camavinga, or Zubamendi, I'm cool. We need another midfielder or two, in my opinion. We need a left winger. Backup striker wouldn't go amiss. We probably need another right back, man. It's annoying, man. But as I said, it's one of the biggest weeks in our club's history in recent years, if I'm completely honest, man. But you know what? If you're living in the United Kingdom, it's a nice day, man. Everyone go get some fresh air. What's the point? It is what it is. And I'll see you lot tomorrow, man. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Check out all the other vids. One love.
Like